Most people chase money their entire lives and never realize money was never the goal. Money is energy. Wealth is energy. And the truth is, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Your aura, your confidence, your certainty, your self-worth, that's the real wealth magnet. The moment you shift your internal frequency, the world outside has no choice but to respond. So the question isn't, how do I make more money? The real question is, how do I become the kind of person that money is naturally drawn to? Tonight, we're not talking about luck, opportunity, or talent. We're talking about unlocking the wealth magnet inside of you, and once that switch flips, nothing will ever be the same again. Most people go through life believing wealth is only about strategy, skill, or luck. They think the richest people are just smarter, more connected, or born into the right circumstances. But the truth is far more empowering. Wealth is not just dollars in a bank account. It is a vibration. It is a frequency. Money moves toward energy. It moves toward confidence. It moves toward certainty. Because wealth isn't attracted to the person who works the hardest. It's attracted to the person who shows up with the strongest internal state. You've seen it. Two people with the same opportunity, one thrives, one fails. One sees limitations, the other sees possibilities. One hesitates, the other acts. The difference isn't talent, and it's not intelligence. It's the energy they bring into the world. It's the internal belief that says, I'm meant for more, I'm valuable, I create impact. Every time you step into that identity, your aura changes, you become a magnet. Think about how people respond to certainty. When someone walks into a room with confidence, presence, and purpose, the atmosphere shifts, eyes turn, attention rises. Why? Because humans are wired to follow strength. We are drawn to leaders. We are drawn to people who know who they are and where they're going. And here's the important part. Money responds the same way. Money is like a loyal soldier. It follows clarity. It follows intention. It follows those who've decided they are ready for more. When you raise your internal standard, wealth doesn't just become possible, it becomes inevitable. You don't chase, you attract. You don't beg for opportunities. They appear because your energy commands them. But it starts with mastering your internal frequency. If inside you feel small, undeserving, or uncertain, you repel wealth. You push away opportunities without even realizing it. You discount your worth. You hesitate when you should move. You settle when you should rise. And the world treats you exactly the way you treat yourself. That's the law. Your aura is a reflection of your identity. If you see yourself as someone powerful, capable, and valuable, people respond to you differently. They listen differently. They trust you faster. They invest more. They recommend you more. Wealth begins with how you see yourself, not how the world sees you. Look at anyone who has created massive success, and you'll notice something: they exude belief. They don't hope, they expect. They don't ask for permission, they claim what's theirs. That mindset doesn't come from ego, it comes from knowing their energy creates results. You have the same power. When your internal language changes from "I hope this works" to "watch me make it happen," you switch frequencies. You change your aura. And everything connected to money reacts. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. Your frequency is a choice. Every day, you are broadcasting energy. Fear or faith, scarcity or abundance, doubt or certainty. And life answers accordingly. If you want wealth, you must become wealth. You must think like someone who is already successful. Speak like it. Move like it. Make decisions like it. Because success doesn't show up first, identity does. So ask yourself right now, what are you broadcasting? When you speak, do people hear conviction or insecurity? When you look in the mirror, do you see someone who deserves wealth or someone who's hoping to get lucky? When opportunities appear, do you shrink or do you step forward? That energy determines everything. You don't need to force wealth to come. You need to align yourself so that wealth has no choice. Raise your vibration, raise your certainty, raise your belief in your own value. You are not here to survive, you're here to expand. When you carry that truth in your voice, in your posture, and in your decisions, your life begins to match it. Because the moment your aura changes, your world changes. When you walk like someone who wins, life starts handing you victories. Most people believe money is the result of skills, knowledge, or what they do for a living. But the real truth is this: you don't earn based on what you do, you earn based on the value you believe you bring to the world. Self-worth creates net worth. If deep inside you don't believe you deserve abundance, you will sabotage it every time it gets close. You'll hesitate, you'll undercharge, you'll shrink, you'll think small, talk small, and play small, even when something inside you knows you were meant for more. Look at someone who is wildly successful. They don't doubt whether they should be in the room. They walk in expecting to contribute, expecting to be valued, expecting to be compensated. That belief shapes how they negotiate, how they speak, how they show up. Their internal worth creates external wealth. Meanwhile, there are brilliant, talented, hardworking people who stay broke because they have never upgraded their identity. They think wealth is something that happens to other people. They believe rich is for the lucky ones, the connected ones, the confident ones. And here's the truth. Every wealthy, confident person started as someone who decided they were enough. When you believe you are valuable, everything changes. You speak differently. You set boundaries. You say no to what drains you and yes to what grows you. You stop begging for opportunities and start creating them. You stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself. That's the moment life acknowledges your identity. Money doesn't come to the person whispering, I hope I'm worth it. It comes to the person who says, I know what I bring. I know the impact I create. I know what I deserve. Because the world pays you in direct proportion to the level of certainty you carry about your value. Think about this. How many times have you talked yourself out of something because you didn't feel ready enough, educated enough, talented enough? How many times have you lowered your price, softened your voice, or ignored your ideas because you feared judgment? That's not lack of opportunity. That's lack of self-worth. Wealth can't land in the hands of someone who keeps pushing it away with insecurity. You don't attract abundance when you don't feel worthy of it. And worthiness has nothing to do with your past. It's not about where you came from, what you failed at, or who never believed in you. Worthiness is a decision. The moment you decide you are enough, the world begins treating you like you are. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are simply one internal decision away from a different financial reality. We live in a world where people are paid for belief. The business owner who charges high ticket isn't necessarily better than the one who charges pennies, but they believe in the value of their work. The performer on stage isn't more gifted than those still dreaming in their bedroom, but they believe they belonged on that stage. The millionaire didn't wait to feel ready. They believed they could contribute, they believed they were worthy, and the world responded. When your self-worth rises, so does your willingness to take bigger risks, speak more boldly, share more authentically, and step into opportunities others are too afraid to touch. Money follows courage. Money follows action, but courage and action only come from belief. If you don't believe you deserve more, you'll never reach for more. You'll build a life of safety instead of expansion. Every time you settle for less pay, less respect, less opportunity, you tell the universe, I'm okay with this. But the moment you raise your standards, the moment you say, this isn't enough anymore, life shifts. The doors that were invisible suddenly appear. You stop surviving and start rising. And it's not because the world changed, it's because you did. You don't attract wealth by hoping for it. You attract wealth by becoming a person who believes they deserve it. The world has always been ready to reward you, but it can only reward the version of you that steps into your power, the version that knows their worth, the version that refuses to shrink, the version that stops apologizing for wanting more. You are valuable, you are capable, and the day you finally believe that is the day your life transforms. Every single person in this room has a money story, a belief system shaped long before you ever opened a bank account, held a job, or thought about success. Some of you grew up in homes where money was scarce, where every bill was a burden, where conversations about finances were filled with fear, stress, or anger. Others were taught that rich people are greedy, that wanting more makes you selfish, or that money destroys families. And you don't realize it, but those beliefs follow you into adulthood. They become invisible chains, holding you back, shaping your decisions, influencing how much you ask for, how much you keep, and how far you allow yourself to rise. You may not remember the conversations directly, but you remember the feeling. You remember the tone when someone said, we can't afford that. You remember watching your parents stress over expenses. You remember hearing, money doesn't grow on trees. People like us just get by, be grateful. Don't ask for more. Or success is for other people. Maybe you watch someone in your life lose money or make a mistake and you learn to fear it instead of mastering it. Over time, the message was clear. Money is hard, money is dangerous, money is for someone else. And then you grew up, you got dreams, you wanted more. But deep inside, that old programming still runs. Every time you want to invest in yourself, the voice says, what if it doesn't work? Every time you think big, another voice says, who do you think you are? Every time an opportunity comes, you hesitate because somewhere inside, you're still that child being told to play it safe. You can't attract wealth with a mindset programmed for survival. You can't build abundance with beliefs born from scarcity. You can't rise financially if you're still emotionally tied to limitation. Your aura can't emit power when your mind is stuck in fear. The reason wealthy people think differently isn't because they're born different. It's because they learned a new money story. They learned that money is a tool, not a threat. Money is possibility, not danger. Money is a reward for impact, not something to fear. If your subconscious believes money causes stress, pain, or loss, it will do everything it can to keep you from getting it. The mind protects you from what it associates with danger, even if that danger is imagined. Some of you are working hard, doing everything right, but you still feel stuck. You wonder why your breakthrough hasn't arrived. It's not your effort that's missing, it's your belief. Transformation doesn't start with income. It starts with identity. You must rewrite the story you've been living. You have to decide that wealth is safe for you, that success is meant for you. That abundance doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a resource, a creator, someone who can help build and elevate others. You can be generous when you have more. You can be present when you're not stressed. You can improve your family's life, your community, your future. Money doesn't change who you are, it amplifies who you are. And here's the beautiful part. You are the author of your story. You don't have to repeat the beliefs of your parents. You don't have to repeat the cycle you grew up in. You don't have to inherit the limitations of the past. Just because you came from struggle doesn't mean you stay in struggle. You can honor your past without living in it. Start asking a different question. Instead of what if it goes wrong, ask what if it goes, right? Instead of what if I fail, ask what if I grow. Instead of what if I lose, ask what if I win. Your brain listens to the questions you ask. Change the question, change the belief, change the result. Your aura shifts when you stop seeing money as a threat and start seeing it as a partner. When you realize there is enough. When you believe you are enough. When you understand that wealth is not something you chase, it's something you align with. Some of you are one decision away from a completely different life, but you've been held back by a story that was never yours. Today, you get to write a new one. A story where you're not the outsider, you're the creator. Not the one surviving, the one rising. Not hoping for money, magnetizing it. Because the moment you rewrite your money story, your future stops being a reflection of your past. Most people have dreams. They talk about changing their life, building wealth, breaking old cycles, becoming the version of themselves they know they're capable of becoming. But there's a massive difference between those who wish and those who build, between those who wait and those who move. Wealth never answers to hesitation. Opportunity doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Success doesn't show up for the person thinking about taking action someday. It shows up for the person who takes action today. Decision is power. Not the kind of decision where you say, yeah, I think I'll try, but the kind where you draw a line in the sand and declare, this is happening. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how uncomfortable it gets. I don't care who doubts me, I'm going. When a human being reaches that level of certainty, doors open, people with less talent, fewer resources, and no roadmap end up creating extraordinary wealth because they refuse to sit and wait for perfect conditions. There are people who have been getting ready for years. They tell themselves, once I learn a little more, once I save a little more, once I feel more confident, once life gets easier, but life doesn't reward preparation without execution. The world pays the person who shows up, the one who acts, the one who risks being uncomfortable. If you wait for clarity before you move, you will be waiting forever. Because clarity is earned by motion, not by thinking. Think about every breakthrough you've ever had. You didn't get it from sitting on the sidelines. You got it from doing something you weren't fully ready for. Growth comes from decisions that feel bigger than you are. Wealth comes from decisions that stretch you beyond who you've been. And those decisions aren't comfortable. But comfort has never built a kingdom. Comfort has never built freedom. Comfort has never created a legacy. Opportunities are everywhere, but they belong to the person who says yes before they feel prepared. Most people see opportunity and talk themselves out of it. They imagine everything that could go wrong. They imagine the judgment. They imagine the failure. And while they're overthinking, someone with less doubt steps in and takes the prize. It's not the smartest, the most educated, or the most experienced who win. It's the most decisive. Wealth responds to speed. Not reckless speed, intentional speed. The faster you move, the faster life reveals the next step, the next connection, the next idea, the next level. Every time you delay, your energy drops, your belief weakens, your momentum dies. But when you act fast, something inside you expands, your aura shifts. You start walking like someone who trusts themselves. And people feel that energy. There are two kinds of people, those who wait for permission and those who choose themselves. Which one do you want to be? The person hoping someone notices their potential, or the person who knows the world doesn't notice unless you stand up and take space? Action is how you claim space. Action is how you declare, I am here, I am ready, I am worthy of more. Some people keep saying one day I'll start that business. One day I'll invest. One day I'll chase my dream. One day I'll leave this environment. But every one day stacks until years pass and you realize you never started. The people living wealthy lives didn't wait for perfect timing, they created it. Success is not luck. Success is a series of decisions made by someone who refused to stay where they were. And yes, action comes with risk, but so does doing nothing. Staying where you are has a cost. Playing small has a cost. Hesitating has a cost. Every time you shrink, every time you ignore your instinct, every time you let fear make decisions for you, you pay with pieces of your future. You pay with dreams that never leave the ground. It's better to fail moving forward than stay stuck standing still. Because failure is feedback. It's information, it's progress. Every time you try, you learn. Every time you step, you grow. Every time you bet on yourself, you raise your frequency, and the universe responds to boldness. People with ordinary talent build extraordinary wealth because they decided. They moved, they acted when it was uncomfortable. Money goes toward momentum. People invest in momentum. Opportunities flow to momentum. The faster you move, the more you attract. You don't manifest wealth by wanting it. You manifest wealth by acting like someone who believes it's already theirs. So ask yourself, how long have you been waiting? How many chances have you talked yourself out of? How many times have you said later when life was giving you now? You don't need the whole staircase, just the next step. And once you take it, the next one appears. That's how every great success story is built, one bold decision at a time. When you decide with full certainty, something shifts. Your voice changes, your posture changes, your energy changes, and suddenly the world sees you differently, not because the world changed, but because you did. Wealth comes to those who move, not those who hope. This is your time, and it's waiting for you to step. Some people are trying to build a millionaire life while surrounding themselves with people who think broke, speak broke, and live broke. They want abundance, but their circle breathes scarcity. They want success, but they spend their time with people who complain about how hard life is, how unfair the world is, how nobody wins unless they're lucky. Energy is contagious. Conversations are contagious. Mindsets are contagious. And if you surround yourself with people who settle, eventually you will too. Your environment is shaping you every second, not just by what people say, but by how they think, how they act, how they respond to challenges, what they believe is possible. If everyone around you thinks small, your goals start shrinking just to fit in. If everyone around you is afraid to fail, you'll start playing safe. If everyone around you doubts themselves, you will start doubting too. We become the average of the people we spend the most time with. And that isn't a slogan, it's human psychology. Look at anyone who has built real success. Their circle challenges them, pushes them, expects more from them. They don't spend time debating whether success is possible. They spend time figuring out how to create it faster. They don't gossip about people. They talk about ideas. They don't get jealous of other people winning. They use it as fuel to rise. You need people who see your potential even when you're tired. People who remind you who you are when life gets heavy. People who talk like winners, think like creators, and live like leaders. When you surround yourself with those kinds of individuals, your aura changes. Your standards rise, your actions get bolder. You start expecting more from yourself because the people around you won't let you settle. But some of you are trying to carry everyone with you. You're trying to grow while holding on to friendships built on who you used to be, not who you're becoming. Every time you take a step forward, someone pulls you back with negativity, jealousy, doubt, or small thinking. You don't realize it, but that weight is costing you your future. You cannot rise while anchored to people who don't want to move. You can love people and still outgrow them. You can care about people and still need distance from their energy. Success requires proximity. You grow by association. When you surround yourself with winners, you start behaving like one. If you want wealth, be around people who talk about building, investing, growing, evolving. People who are excited by ideas, driven by goals, and committed to becoming more. Their energy elevates you. Their belief strengthens you. Their vision expands you. Suddenly, the things you once thought were impossible become normal. Their certainty becomes your certainty. Their success becomes proof that you can rise too. And it's not only about who you spend time with physically. What you listen to matters, what you read matters, who you follow matters. Your brain is always absorbing information and using it to shape your identity. Feed it with limitation, you become limited. Feed it with abundance, you become abundant. So ask yourself, who is influencing you? Who is shaping your mindset? Who are you letting speak into your life? If your circle doesn't inspire you, it's not a circle, it's a cage. You don't need permission to level up. You don't need approval to grow. The people who are meant for your next chapter won't fear your evolution, they will celebrate it. You have the right to create a new environment, a circle that matches your goals, your purpose, and your vision, and when you do, alignment happens. Confidence rises. You stop shrinking. You stop apologizing. Your aura becomes stronger. You start stepping into opportunities that once scared you, because now you're not walking alone. You're walking with people who believe in rising. Your circle is your currency. Choose wisely. Most people think wealth is about what you take, what you get, what you collect. But the greatest secret of abundance is the complete opposite. Wealth is a flow. It moves to those who create value. It moves to those who serve. It moves to those who solve problems, elevate others, and make life easier, better, faster, or more meaningful. You become a magnet for abundance when you stop asking, what can I get? And start asking, what can I give? When you look at the most financially successful people in the world, they all have one thing in common. They provide massive value. They improve lives. They solve problems. They innovate. They make something possible that wasn't possible before. And because of that, the world rewards them, not by accident, not by luck, by impact. Money is simply the receipt for value delivered. Some people complain that they're working hard and not getting anywhere financially, but hard work without impact doesn't create abundance. Effort alone isn't enough. People don't pay you for time, they pay you for value. The person flipping burgers works harder than many millionaires, but the marketplace pays based on contribution, not exhaustion. The more value you bring, the more wealth you magnetize. But value doesn't only come from skills or talent, it comes from who you are. Your energy is value. Your ideas are value. Your leadership is value. Your courage is value. The way you help someone think bigger, feel stronger, become better, that has value. Wealth flows through people who make others rise. You don't have to have a business to create value. You don't need a title or degree to change someone's life. The moment you start showing up with intention, generosity, and purpose, you shift the frequency of everything around you. There are two types of people in the world, takers and givers. Takers walk into a room asking, what can everyone do for me? Givers walk in asking, how can I make this space better because I'm here? And here's what's amazing. The giver always wins long term. Because relationships matter, reputation matters, energy matters. People remember how you made them feel. When you become a source of inspiration, encouragement, knowledge, or support, people want to work with you, help you, promote you, and invest in you. Abundance follows those who make others abundant. And giving doesn't mean sacrifice. It doesn't mean draining yourself or being used. It means becoming a creator, someone who adds value wherever they go, someone who leaves people better than they found them, someone who builds instead of taking. You want to increase your wealth, increase your value, learn more, grow more, build new skills, think bigger, serve deeper. Every time you expand who you are, the world rewards you. Money is attracted to growth. Money is attracted to creativity. Money is attracted to leadership. You can't become wealthy staying the same. Expansion is the requirement. When you shift your focus from getting to giving, something powerful happens. Fear disappears. Scarcity disappears. Because you stop living in survival mode. You're not chasing money anymore, you're creating impact. And when you create impact, money chases you. Think about how many times someone changed your life with a conversation, an idea, a skill, or a moment of belief. That's value, that's impact, that's the aura of abundance. When you step into that energy consistently, you become unforgettable. You stop trying to convince people of your worth because your presence proves it. And let's be clear, value isn't about perfection, it's about progress. You don't need to have everything figured out to help someone who's one step behind you. You don't need $1 million to inspire someone who's struggling. You don't need a perfect plan to create change. You just need the willingness to show up. The more you grow, the more you give. The more you give, the more you attract. Not because of karma, but because the world pays problem solvers. The world rewards those who make life better. Wealth is a measurement of value delivered. Some people say, when I become successful, then I'll start helping others. But that's backwards. You become successful because you help others. Giving isn't the reward, giving is the path. Whether you're selling, teaching, building, writing, leading, creating, or encouraging, value creates doors. It builds trust, it builds momentum, and momentum builds wealth. You were not put on this earth to play small. You were not designed to withhold your gifts, your ideas, your creativity, your leadership. There are lives waiting to be changed because of you. There are people you haven't met yet whose destiny is tied to your purpose. When you step into that truth, your aura becomes unstoppable. You radiate confidence, generosity, and certainty, and people feel it. When you give more, you become more. When you become more, you attract more. That is the real wealth magnet. So stop trying to take, start trying to transform, because the greatest version of your life will be built through the value unleashed into the world. And the moment you choose to live that way, abundance starts choosing you.